And so for me, that was seeing domestic violence after my parents got married. Soon after they got divorced, my brother was shot and killed at 15. I was 13 years old, and that really sent me into high school with depression. I didn't graduate from middle school, and I was actually conditionally admitted to high school. Went from a 3.5 student to a point 0.5 student in middle school, and so they didn't graduate me.
Welcome to another edition of Men on the Rise, where we always speaking to great individuals who have a great story, have a great lifestyle, and they're just doing some amazing things that just impact others. So today I have a special guest. I'm telling you, y'all be ready because my guy right here, he's going to really share some good stuff that's really going to help us all to reach our fullest potential. So today I have an honor and a privilege to talk to my friend, Dr. Dar. How you doing, my guy?
I'm good, my brother. How you?
Man, it's so great, man. Everything's good, man. But I just wanted to just thank you so much just taking time out of your schedule. I know you got some amazing things you're doing, man. But just want you to take a
Absolutely.
few moments just to introduce yourself, my brother.
Yeah, Dr. Dar Mayweather. I'm a leadership studies faculty member and professional speaker. I teach at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. I help college students and high school students understand their natural gifts and talents and articulate them to industry leaders so they can graduate with a job or in to grad school. And 100% of students who coach with me one-on-one get jobs and into grad school before graduation. So very, very proud of that. Also, as a professional speaker, I work with educators and students to help them believe in themselves. The goal is to help them see that they are all gifted and talented, and they all got one thing. And I believe every single person, including whoever is watching this, got one thing. And all you need is that one thing to be successful.
Man, that's awesome, man. Well, man, I know I want people to hear a little bit about, your story because like they say, man, sometimes we all have our journey and through our journey, our misery becomes our ministry and we can be able to impact and touch so many through what things we've gone through. So, man, I wanted to kind of just unpack yourself, man. Like I say, were you born
Yeah.
from a place where, you already had things all figured out? Your parents already knew that you're going to go on the 4-year school? What's a little bit about how you passed and how you upcoming, bro?
Yeah, I thoroughly believe in that as well. I believe that you overcoming your hardships literally is the precursor to your leadership. It's the thing that helps you create the roadmap to somebody else's success. And so you got to overcome your stuff, right? And so I 100% believe that. And so for me, that was very, very young. I would say my whole life really started when I was like 3 years old. I had a vision that I would be a father to a child that had my face and be responsible for his upbringing. And so when your vision gets clear, that's when the enemy starts to attack, right? That's when the opposition doesn't want to see your vision become a reality. And so for me, that was seeing domestic violence after my parents got married. Soon after they got divorced, my brother was shot and killed at 13. I was 15. He was 13. I mean, he was 15. I was 13 years old. And that really sent me into high school with depression. I didn't graduate from middle school, and I was actually conditionally admitted to high school. Went from a 3.5 student to a point 0.5 student in middle school. And so they didn't graduate me. And that's so funny because, like, me and my cousin went actually to the same middle school. And so everybody in my family is literally going to see her graduate. And of course, I couldn't walk because my grades were so bad. Started high school depressed, grieving my brother's death. And it was people in community that really saw me in a time that I didn't see myself. That really believed in me in a time that I didn't believe in myself. And, I would say I became a champion. I was super involved in students. I would actually in student programs and events. Actually planned lots of events for students to help the community and the school be a great place for people. As a result, I think also my grades were that great since I was so involved. I really never focused on my grades, and so I graduated with 10 people, right? 9 people actually who had better, worse GPAs than me in my graduating class. But it was about my service and my teachers who saw me in the time that I didn't see myself again, helped me write an essay that got me $25,000 in scholarships to go to college. And so after the military didn't want me, I didn't want to go work for a factory because I've seen my mom have that career her entire life. And I didn't want somebody to be able to tell me when I can and cannot get paid because, unemployment and all that stuff. And so I was like, let's go to college. And, you know, even then, kind of fumbled through college, but I was involved. And I remember going on a national search for jobs after I graduated with a criminal justice degree and not getting a single interview. And that really helped me see that it wasn't just about what you're doing, right? It's not about what you're learning, it's where you're leading. And where I was leading was on campus. And so as soon as I got into higher education, I got into a master's program, my career exploded. I went from a hall director to a faculty member. I went from the door room to the classroom. And so that's my story.
Man, that's good. So much meat on that bone. I want to take it to different ways. I kind of want to stay in this thread right here because you had a major trauma. And sometimes when
Hmm.
trauma hits, man, it really takes a lot to deal with it, man. And so I want to kind of unpack that because some people are dealing with another form of trauma, whether if it was something so a bit severe as yours, but we all have things that kind of, if we don't deal with it from the root of it, man, it can really hinder our growth and where we go in life. And so I want you to talk a little bit about this, about the trauma about your brother's loss, your death of your brother. But then I want to
Yeah.
tell you, want people to hear how do you come past that because that's so
So
important. How do you have to face that? Go ahead, bro.
no, I love that. I love that you said that. Shout out to uh the Lions, my our GM Brad Holmes. He had did a graduation speech just a couple weeks ago, I'm assuming, and he talked about choosing your heart. And so, it's hard to be a victim. It's hard to overcome. It's hard to be resilient, but you can either choose to not deal with your issues, and that's hard, or you can choose to deal with your issues, and that's hard. And so you get to choose your heart. And I'm one of those type of persons that I realized very quickly that if I continue school in the direction that I was going, I was going to end up with the same results that I had. And although it was hard, it was traumatizing. I mean, I had never really seen a dead body until, and one of my first ones being my brother, my oldest brother. That changed me. That hardened me, that emotionally took a lot away from me. And I never thought about what would it look like to get therapy, to get help in that time. I just thought the feeling would just go away eventually. And it never did. And that carried out through my high school career. It carried out through my college career. It carried out through my young professional career, where I just could not feel for people in a way that was authentic and genuine. And so that experience hardened me, like I said. But the beauty of it is that there was community that helped me be soft, that I can find to help me learn how to express some of the emotions or just be able to get some of my feelings out, even if it's kind of raw and people care that it wasn't polished. It didn't have to be. And I think that's important too. I never allow myself to stick in isolation. And I think when these issues happen, when these things happen, we sometimes isolate to self-heal. And unfortunately, that's why we have doctors, right? You can't, you break a bone, you need to go see somebody, right? It might heal on its own, but the reality is you might still have that limp or you still might be crooked. But if you went and got some help, it might actually look like it better or maybe even better than it did before. But if you don't get any help, you're just thinking that your wound is healed, but really everybody can tell except for you, and you've been the person that's dealing with it the whole time. So it's normal for you, but it doesn't come off as normal for everybody else.
Mm, man, that's deep, man. So knowing that you like to say, even though like what you just said, you were still dealing with this trauma and you didn't get help right away. But what was that turning point that kind of made you? get beyond, make helped you to get to that place where now I want to get back in the game, want to start winning again. Because even though some people we get stuck at a place where we just can't, either it's something like a burden where somebody finances or whatever, they hit that spot and they just keep on spiraling down. But you
Mm.
found a way to really start back winning again. What was that turning point, and what would you say to someone who find themselves in that spot that they can lean into that it can help them the same way it may have helped you?
Yeah. I think this is where everything has to come back to your vision. And so for me, I think that happened pretty early. I was in high school when again I realized there's things that I want in life. There's things that I desire to have. And if I am obedient and disciplined to this vision, right, this thing that God gave me when I was 3 years old, that I can literally become something because I stayed obedient and disciplined to the vision. And so for me, it started in high school where I was committed to just not being like hardened and sad all the time and try to get involved in community. So I joined sports clubs, right? I joined student clubs. Right? I still start helping other people be happy, and that helped me be and feel happy in the inside. Even if I didn't feel it for myself, I felt other people being happy in the things that I was involved in, or the things that I helped plan, or the things that I was participating in, and that brings you joy too. And so, I really do believe that if you lose yourself, you can find yourself in the service of others. And that's just what I did. I committed to being a integral part of how our community in the school was and how we represented ourselves, not only throughout the school, but throughout the city. I think about just some of the ideas that I had, again, of just being a father and a husband. I didn't, I grew up around a whole bunch of men who had a whole bunch of women by and a whole bunch of kids by a whole bunch of women. My own father got 6 kids and three baby mamas, right? And so I'm the youngest. And so that's not a lifestyle that I really saw myself living at a very early age as well. I saw what it can do when you got three women pulling at you to kind of take care of all your children. And it's hard when you don't necessarily have the means to do so. And so I saw my father struggle with that. And unfortunately, it broke him and it broke our relationships, all of ours. And we had to find a way to get that back, especially as the children. And some of us did, and some of us didn't. And I knew that was not a vision that I had for my life. And so, when I think about going to college and, people think about college as like going partying and all that stuff, I started college as a fresh start for me. I took all the remedial classes. I took classes that didn't count for credit for graduation because I knew that I wanted to just start over again. Like I started high school right after my brother got murdered, and so that I started school in a different place than most people. I wasn't thinking about, how fresh I look. I wasn't thinking about what shoes I got on, or, I'm literally in a dark place. And so when I got to college, I'm like, wow, this is a fresh opportunity for me to just try something different instead of starting, on my couch or watching TV all day. I got into the books to the best of my abilities. And that turned me into a college student, like really focusing in on what it meant to be in that environment, and I think a part of it is like on a deeper level, right? You got to be the right person, you know, and I'm not talking about like they choosing you right person, like the right person within. Like you got to see yourself as a person who could actually achieve things and have things and have a vision for things and you go after it. You got to be the right person on the inside. And so I think at that time I just had a belief in myself. I was the right person, you know,
Mm,
and I was just ready.
awesome, man. I heard what you said, and that's something that I can't say enough of. When you help, and I think I heard it from Zig Ziglar say it like this: when you help enough people get what they want, you will always get what you need and what you want. And so that was something that even at a young age, I don't know if you had people who modeled that before you, but that's something I stand on. I share with you. Got to it's seed, time, and there's harvest. And the more you find ways to put seed in the ground, meaning the soil, that what you want in return first. Meaning, if you want love, you got to do what? put love in the ground, meaning you give someone else that same thing, love, and you watch it will bring forth that back to you at a later time. May not happen as fast as you want, but it will come forth at some point in time. And so
Hmm.
what you were saying is so important, that the more you help people, you found joy in your life. You gave
Yeah.
joy and you received it back in return. So many times we say I need. If you plant that seed, you will definitely feel that need. And so that is important to have fruitful life. And I can tell you, if you never want to be like broke, if you never want to be without, you can always plant that first into someone else's life and watch. It's going to make sure you have that thing back in return. And so, man, that was awesome that you learned that at a younger age, and now you're still implementing that even now as you stand before us as in serving what you do, even in the circle that we're in the next level.
Hmm.
You raise your hand and say, "Hey, I'll take on the role as being the president." You saw a need, you see the opportunity for you to serve, and guess what? You feel that, and not just saying that by title, but you're doing it by action too. And so I appreciate you. For
I
me,
appreciate that.
yeah, even standing in the stead that we have in the same circle, and man, you lead by example. You're showing up, and you're making sure you're helping others. And so I kind of want to lean into that, because
Yeah.
what is it to being a leader? What does a real leader look like? And so I kind of want you to talk about that, because you're in that
Yeah.
position as a leader on so many different places. And a lot of people want to shine, want the spotlight, but a lot of heat come with that
Hmm.
spotlight. So I just wanted to talk about you in that journey as well. And now that you know, through the journey of you getting there, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep because this is my lane, and so this is what I do. I create leaders. No, seriously, I create real change in the community through my students. And I think a big part of it starts with, again, starting with being the right individual. Like, are you the right person? And so, what do you know about yourself? Like, truly know about yourself, and you can say, this is what I stand on, when it's like me, when I'm talking about me, right? And so for me, I can stand on the fact that I have graduated over 200 students. I can stand on the fact that I built a brand new house and moved my family across North Carolina. I can stand on the fact that I live in the house with my children, with my wife, who are all happy. I can stand on the fact that I've been able to produce over $500,000 in a speak as a speaker part time, right? I can stand on the fact that I've had over a 15-year career in higher education. And so these are not who I am, but this is all the things that I stand on because of who I am, right? Because I am a teacher, because I am a speaker, because I am a person who believes in leadership education and believes that we all can grow and develop into whoever we want to be, but we got to believe first, and right? And we got to know that we have gifts and talents. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is, like, who are you in groups? Like, who are you in the people who you say you're around? One of the things that my grandma told me, is that, you show me your friends, and I'll tell you your future. And she used to tell me that all the time, and it made sense because the people who ran with thugs was a thug, the people who ran with gangsters was a gangster, the people who ran with drug dealers were drug dealers. Like, these are all people, right? And so when I think about myself, I had two types of friends in high school. I had friends who was doing breaking and Emory, armed robbery, stealing cars off lots, and then I also had friends who was going to college. And so I chose the friends who was going to college. And that made it that simple. Like, a lot of times we make it more difficult, but it's really about the environment that you're in. You're not seeing poor people hanging out with rich people because there's no value exchange with what they're looking for, right? I want to be in a place where I can create value exchange, not just create value, but exchange value with people who are like-minded, who are going in the same direction. Who are you around? So it's not just like, um, um, it's the type of conflicts that those people deal with, right? It's the type of how they handle the conflicts, right? Because it's, let's say, somebody did something crazy. Now you jumping in the car with a gun or with a weapon. That's who you around, right? When you think that that's normal, right? So um, I think about that type of stuff. Um, Even thinking about, do your behaviors match who you say you are? And so that's a part of that as well. And then the last part is this: who are you in community? right? And so when it comes to people talking about your name outside of groups of people that know you, what do they say about you? And when you know that, though, that's leadership, right? And so what I know about myself, I can say that I can stand on that in my groups that people that know me. Then I also can stand on that in community of people that have heard about me that don't know me. That's leadership. Everything is congruent. Everything goes in the same direction with every community, right? And so that's how I look at it.
Man, that's awesome, bro. I love the fact that you're saying about leadership. That's my thing too. I'm big on John Maxwell, Miles Monroe. These my guys when it comes to
Yeah.
talking about leadership. And actually, when I got into the space of podcasting, my first podcast was around leadership. Um it was a leadership podcast. So I really spoke a lot about this topic because I was near and dear because uh, like I said, if a leader knows and share the vision and can actually paint the picture, you can lead people who may not like Joshua when he led the children of Israel to the promised land.
Mm.
Not that they were strong, but the leader was strong. He
Yeah.
helped them to see themselves as being strong, and he helped strengthen them to rise to that level of strength. And so, man, it's great when
And
you
I
don't
think we
have to
don't
have
look at
strength.
it too, we don't look
Mm,
at it complex enough. So like I think everybody got to see, like, if we even going back Bible, right? You going Bible now. Um, you think about the 12 tribes, the 12 tribes, right? And you got to understand that when a big decision was about to be made, they sent the head of the tribe, right? They sent the head of the tribe, but then the tribe leader had a council that he talked to that was leaders within the tribe, right? And so, and then you got those people who talk with people who are leaders within the tribe that's working under them. Does that make sense? And so I
hmm
think so many times we don't look at it as levels to this thing. Everybody just want to jump from I'm a member to I'm the president. But it's like, have you been even been an active member, right? Have you even been an active member that's consistently showing up? Have you been an active member that's consistently showing up that helped plan something? Have you been an active member that consistently showed up that helped plan something that then somebody else put you up for a board position? And then once you get on a board, how can you stay active and involved and continue to show up consistently before somebody promotes you in a board position? This people don't see all of the work that needs to be done for you to progress in anything, let alone be a leader in an organization that has structure. And so, and I think again, part of that comes back to, are you the right person? Are you listening to the gifts that are inside of you that were given to you, God given to you? That's the only way you fully know where you're supposed to fall in line.
Man, that's good. That's good, bro. I'm thinking about so many people who had that leader position later on. You have I think about someone like Joseph. I have my young guys who I have the privilege of working with, and I'd had them to listen to over in Genesis the story of Joseph. And why did I do that? Because I shared with them, asked them this question. I said, "Are you a leader?" Take them a second. Now they said yes, and I told them this. It's the difference between being cocky and confidence.
Mm,
And I told him, you are a leader because you wouldn't be with me if you wasn't, because birds of a feather flock together. You may
mm,
not be the leader that you shall be, but you have to realize you do have that trait within you. And it's all about developing that over time where you reach that place of where you shall reign. And I think about the story of people such as David. I think about Joseph. Those two always reign in front of me so much because they started, Joseph was at 17 when he got the vision that he would
mm.
one day be a ruler. He didn't understand it as such, but he was shown that vision at 17. Now, he had to go through some trials. he, he
We
got
all
sold
do.
into slavery. Yeah, that wasn't part of that leadership that he wanted. But wherever he was, he excelled. And so many of
Yeah.
us want the check without putting in the work. We got to
Well,
put
you
in the
know,
work way before the
yep,
check comes. And that's the
yep,
key. Greatness. I want you to talk on it because I want to go and preach a little bit on it. But I'm gonna pull back. I'm gonna let you have that because that is so important. And I know you deal, especially with dealing with students.
Yeah,
Mm, we have to drive that home so much. And I know not only students, we all, but it's so important that we realize, man, you got to be great before you get that greatness on you. You have to be great, not just do great. And it's a
yeah,
lifestyle you have to develop into, and then you'll be promoted in time into those spaces that you have been called into. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Being called into a space is understanding that you have an opportunity to create change. And when people create change that's positive, you become trusted, right? You become a value add. And so that's a part of what I think everybody wants to be successful. And I think everybody wants to be a part of something greater than them. I really believe that. That's what we are as humans, unless you just have some kind of mental blockage that doesn't allow for that to happen in you or in your life socially. But for all those who believe that they have a higher calling to be a part of something bigger than them, it's about creating a change that impacts not only your life, but the lives of others. And when you do that consistently through commitment, right, through consciousness of self, you are then able to show that you are a change agent, somebody that literally, when you walk into rooms, things start happening, right? But it takes consistency, it takes congruence. Those type of things matter, right? And knowing how you deal with conflict. And so we started this whole conversation by saying like your conflict in your life is a gift for you to figure out so that you can be the pathway of somebody else's success. That's literally what I believe leadership is all about. And so what a lot of people have a problem with is they're solving the wrong problems. Okay, let me try to put that. Or a lot of people have the problem because they're choosing not to solve the root problem. And so why you keep getting forward and then stumbling back, why you keep getting ahead but can't get there is because you're not focused on the right problem. Once you focus in on the right problem, then everything becomes super easy, right? Because you're using again who you truly are, your gift, your talent, the thing that makes you you to solve a specific problem. And that's where your magic lies. It's like literally those circles that overlap. That's kind of how I see it. It's your gift and the problem merged together, and whatever that middle part is, that's your magic. And I help people find that out, right? That's a part of the work that you got to do to get to know who you really are. And until you know who you really are, you can't really create change or can't be a change agent because you don't know how you create change. You don't know how to say it in one sentence, right? So I help college students understand their gifts and talents and articulate them to industry leaders so they can graduate with a job or with grad school admission. That's what I do. So my students, when they engage with me, this is the expectation that I turn them into a graduate with a job.
Man, that's good. That's good. Because a lot of us, I would say you got to be a great number two before you can become number one. But it's also good to know that it's better to be, be in your lane and not try to be where you don't fit. So if you are like say Scottie Pippen, he was a great number two.
Hmm.
He wasn't Jordan. But you got to know that about yourself so you won't be trying to be something that you're not. And
Yeah,
even yeah, and so even
yeah.
even as you help the college student, I'm loving that because I want you to kind of give us some tools on how to that you will give someone from day one that will help them to start moving in that direction to help them to start seeing because a lot of us get stuck on potential
Hmm.
and never been able to cross over to reality. And you
Yeah.
can't, I don't know about you, but you can't cash in potential. they ain't paid
Hmm.
potential. They're paying you for results, and that's what a business,
Mhm.
that's what a job is, are solving problems. And you just hit it right on the head, because you got to make sure you're solving the right problem.
You
Because
gotta
the
solve the
more
right
you're
problem.
able to solve those problems for others, they're gonna pay you more. Okay. And as you as
Yeah.
a doctor, you know what I'm saying, they solving on a higher level. That's why the GMs, someone who's in the custodial realm, right? They all solving
Hmm.
problems but at a different level. And so, what is just something that you teach your students from day one to help them articulate and try to start moving in that space of realizing how to get to that place of leadership and solving problem solving?
Oh man. Woo. Okay. I'm gonna try my best to try to keep this simple. So the first thing is to know that leadership is about change, and you can't create change until you change yourself. Okay. You got to accept the fact that whatever you're trying to change, you have to become potentially a better person in order for that change to actually happen. So that's the first. And in order for you to become a better person, you got to believe in yourself. Right? You don't become better by not believing. And a part of this journey is then looking at all the things that you have hardships dealing with and understand that that happened for your good. It didn't happen to you, it happened for you. Right. So that's the next part. And then once you do that, you got to know that you are unique. You got to stop comparing yourself to other people. You got to know that you have gifts, you have talents that are specifically given to you for you to deal with the types of problems that you deal with so that you can be the leader that somebody else needs, right? And so when you understand that stop comparing yourself. You don't wake up every day looking at somebody else's journey. You actually wake up every day looking at your own journey. You ask yourself, did you get better than you did yesterday? Not did you get better than whoever you think you're in competition with. So that's that, right? So that starts there with your internal self, just knowing and truly believing that everything that you have experienced literally comes from somewhere. That's your magic. And so what that might mean is you might have to forgive your father. You might have to forgive your mother. You might have to forgive some people that you feel like hurt you in your past, but they're part of your past because they make up who you are. That's your magic, right? And so when you don't know who you come from, you don't know where you're going. They say that all the time, right? This is what I really believe is you are a makeup of people who help make you. And so go to them, talk to them about who you are, and that'll help you understand where you're supposed to be. I'm gonna
That's
keep it that
deep, man.
plain. But if people want to know more, right? My book will be coming out soon. All you need is one thing, right? And
Okay.
that'll be the kind of the roadmap of helping you see how to get to where you need to be so that you can find the success that you were uniquely crafted and put on this earth for.
Yes, yes, that's what's up, man. We're gonna make sure we come back in a later time and help promote and push people, because, like I say, I know for myself personally, man, you definitely have imparted information to the men's group that the community that I have the chance to be a part of, and so many other circles. And man, every time you drop them nuggets, man, folks are so appreciative and actually applying those things. So I can't wait till the book drop. We're gonna definitely be leaning into get more information from it.
Yes,
But
sir.
we're gonna go ahead and close out here. But I want to talk about a little bit about what is it that that's important to you, that make sure that these men who are listening to this, that you can impart into them a drop of wisdom that they can keep on winning. Because what you just said, something I share to my son all the time. You can't don't hit home runs. Win today. Get on base. And from there, you can then see further, but you can't always try to do things overnight, because life is not always a quick fix to get to where you're going, but you have to start doing small wins daily
Mm,
in order to start seeing some progress, in order to see forward movement. And so I want to just kind of give you an opportunity to share from your heart what it is that you think that we as men can benefit from, It's a nugget of wisdom, and also how we can also connect with you to keep in connection with you and moving forward.
Yeah. So I think it just comes down to, I was looking at some notes here. Um, it comes down to three mistakes that I think a lot of men make in the becoming of whoever they're supposed to become process. And so mistake number one is they're chasing applause instead of chasing an assignment. And so really believing that you have something specifically that is only for you, right? You're only supposed to benefit. You're supposed to be the person that takes over. You're the person that's supposed to be seen on top. You're the like that is a mindset that's only going to destroy you. So instead of chasing the applause, chase the assignment. And so when the assignment is given, you know that the gift is not for you. The gift is for you to be given to other people. And so that is super important to me. You got skills, you got talent. That's for you. Spend your hours working on your craft, but give it to the community, right? The second thing I think is a mistake is just checking the check instead of chasing change, right? And so you think when you're focused on purpose, you can't be focused on payment. You got to be focused on people. And I want you to see that when you chase change, it's about transforming somebody's life for the better because you have gifts and you have talents. And that's going to then bring more people who need you to shine their light on them through your gift and talent. But you got to stop chasing the check. The second thing is a lot of men especially are being viral focused. So instead of vision focused. And so what do I mean by that? Like viral focused are people, when you think of people who go viral, what they do is they post something and then in an instant they come up the authority over something. Right. And so what we need to do is take away this idea that all we want is an instant authority when we just start focusing on vision authority, which is something that might take years, might take 5 years, might take 10 years, might take 15, might take 20 years. But you accumulate 20 years of impact. Now you cannot deny your authority. I want to make sure that I make that clear. Vision focused authority over 20 years can't be easily broken down, but it can be when it's instant, like viral moments, right? And so they look at you and they find you and they realize just because you put this post out, that's the only reason why we should follow you, not the work that you've put in over 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. This is why people follow me because I've been doing the work for decades. I don't have to make it up. All the stuff that people talk about for me, I think the beautiful thing as a man, I stand in that and I'm not afraid to because I did the work and I'm doing the work. I'm continuously trying to make sure that my wife is happy. I'm continuously trying to make sure that my children are happy. I'm continuously trying to assess, well, how can I be a better husband and father? How can I be a better leader in this home? I'm not complacent. I'm not satisfied with who I am today. I'm excited for the person who I'm becoming because I continuously evolve into the person that is better for the communities that I'm in, right? That's vision. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to tap in because you said something that really drove home. I said so much now, don't chase the viral moments. And what it made me think about was don't look at how many people are in the room that matters. The impact that you make in that room matters. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, so that's so important. Don't worry about how many people, yeah, I hear some people say, man, when you have events, how many people were there? That wasn't my focus. How many people were changed?
Mm,
That's more important. How many
mm,
people got something from being in that room? That should be more important than the numbers of
mm,
people who are there. And so I love that what you said, man, really resonated home because we could be chasing after the wrong thing versus really focusing on that thing that really matters the most. And so
mm.
that was on. But something throughout this whole conversation that you said that really drive home the point of this whole conversation for me was success is one thing. And I heard it from John Maxwell say it like this: success is when you are accomplished, you reach your goals. But significance is when
Mm,
you took the eye off of it and put down you being you are focusing on others. And through all
mhm.
this conversation, you spoke about how the focus is about how you can help others reach their goal. And that's where significance lies. And so, man, with that said, man, I want you to share with everyone else how can they connect with you and how they can be able to follow and connect with.
Yeah, definitely. So the book, All You Need Is One Thing, coming out soon. Hopefully 2025 is definitely when we're trying to launch this thing. Looking forward to seeing y'all. Connect with me at Dr. Dar Mayweather on YouTube, at Dr. Dar Mayweather on Instagram and LinkedIn, of course, www.drdarmayweather.com. Join the email list so that you can be part of the early access that gets access to my group, maybe even get a couple of sneak peeks. Again, www.drdarmayweather. Join my email list so that I can make sure that you get this book in your hands so that can change your life.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate you, man, for coming in, dropping what you drop, man. I'm pretty sure so many people are gonna be blessed and informed and transformed to be able to continually winning every day. And so, man, we thank you again. We thank everyone for taking time out to check out this episode. But if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you in this journey. And in the meantime, be great.
Yes, sir.
Thank